Welcome back again, my friends, to the channel. Today I'm focusing on sketching a cubic function. Now, sketching a cubic function, remember earlier on I made a video on components of a cubic function. Now, for you to be able to sketch a cubic function, first of all, you need to search for that video and make it a point that you understand and master components of a cubic function. Now, let's go to it and see what is happening. We are given a function f with respect to x, which is equals to 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 4x. We can clearly see that the highest degree of the variable is 3, meaning that it is a cube. We are dealing with a cubic function. Now, the first question says, calculate the coordinates of the turning point of the graph of f, and that is 5 marks. I can tell you, if you understand your components of a cubic function, these 5 marks is very much free. Now, let's go to my solution. What did I do? First of all, I say for the turning points, what we know is the fact that the derivative of f of x must be equals to 0. Now, when I differentiate f with respect to x, I would get 0 because the turning points are stationary points. Now, I moved on. I differentiated that function. The derivative of 2x cubed is 6x squared. The derivative of minus 5x squared is minus 10x. The derivative of 4x is plus 4. And remember, we said this is equals to 0. Then we now factorize this. Here, I just simplified that by dividing throughout by 2. We factorizing it. Factors of 3x squared minus 5x plus 2 are 3x minus 2 and x minus 1. Now, I find the values of x. That is, one value of x of the turning point is 2/3, or x is equals to 1. Now, to find the y values of the turning points of the graph of f, what do? You take each one of these values, you substitute them into the given equation, then they will give you the values of y. That is why I said this is equation 2 and this is equation 1. Moving on, I'm saying substitute 2 into 1, each one of those values. When I do that, when I substitute 2/3, I get 28 divided by 27. When I substitute 1, I get 1. Now, meaning that the coordinates of the turning points that they are looking for are 2 divided by 3 is to 28 divided by 27, and 1 is to 1. Okay, let's move on to the next question, my friends. The next question says, prove that the equation 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 4x equals to 0 has only one root. Now, how do we do that? First of all, if they are talking about the roots, it means they are talking about the factors. If you look at what they gave us there, They gave us f of x, which is 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 4x. Now, they come back and replace the value of y by 0, meaning that we are looking for the x-intercept. Now, in this case, because I am proving that it has got one root, remember now, nature of the roots will tell you whether an equation can be factorized or not, and specifically it must be a quadratic equation. Now, moving on, what did I do? I factorized this by removing the highest common factor, and in this case the highest common factor is x. Then I'm left with 2x squared minus 5x plus 4. Now, if I multiply this by that and I get 0, it means x is equals to 0, or what is inside the bracket there is equals to 0. Now remember, I want to prove that this has got only one root. What I did is I went to nature of the roots, took the discriminant. My discriminant is equals to b squared minus 4ac. Now, I substituted. The value of b is minus 5. Minus 5 squared is 25. The value of a is 2. The value of c is 4. You multiply 4 by 2. You multiply the product of the 2 by 4. You get minus 32. You simplify this. You can see that delta is negative 7. Now remember, when delta is less than 0, that means the roots of this equation are non-real. Now, what does that mean? It means that here, there's only one root that is actually there for this equation. Now, that is why I concluded by saying x is equals to 0 is the only factor of f of x, because I could not factorize this one. We have actually proved that the given equation has only one x-intercept, or it has got only one real root. Now let's go to the next equation. Next question says, sketch the graph of f. Clearly indicate the intercepts with the axis and the turning points. Now, let's go to that one. Before we go to the graph, remember that your graph must have x and y intercept. It must have the turning points. Now, for y-intercept, we know that into that equation, the original given equation, we must substitute x by 0. Now, if we do that, this would be equals to 0. Now, it says to us, the x-intercept is also the y-intercept of this graph. Now, sketching the graph, let's go to it. There's your x-intercept, which is also the y-intercept. There is your turning point, and this one is known as local maxima. There is your local minima. Folks, now you must remember that very importantly, when A is greater than 0, the shape of your graph will be that. When A is positive, it will start from there, increase, be stationary there, and change direction, decrease. It is stationary there, change direction again, increase and increase further on. There is your correct graph, which is representing the given equation, that is f of x is equals to 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 4x. Next question says, for which values of x will the graph of f be concave up? Now, let's visit the graph. If you look at this graph, from here up to somewhere there, it is concave down. And from here up to somewhere there, it is concave up. Now, that means to us, the graph of f is actually changing its concavity at a certain specific point. Now, how do we determine that point so that we answer the question that they are asking us? Folks, as I said earlier on, please master your mathematical concept. And in this case now, you need to revisit that video where I am doing the cubic function components. If you talk about concavity, to me, what comes into mind is point of inflection. And point of inflection is the second derivative of f with respect to x is equals to 0. Now, meaning that I must go back to the equation that I differentiated first, because now I'm talking about the second derivative of f. I must go to the first derivative, which is 6x squared minus 10x plus 4, and differentiate this. And when you do that, folks, you must now remember the rules for differentiation. The derivative of 6x squared is 2 times 6, which is 12, 2 minus 1, which is 1. It would be 12x minus 1 times minus 10, which is minus 10, 1 minus 1, which is 0, x to power 0 is 1. 1 times minus 10 is minus 10. There we go. And the derivative of the constant is 0. Now, meaning that the second derivative of f is 12x minus 10. And remember, it must be equals to 0. I solve for x. X is equals to 10 divided by 12, which is the same as 5 divided by 6 when we simplify that. Now, let's go to the graph and see what this 5 divided by 6 means to us. Now, the 5 divided by 6 is the x value of that point. It means at this point, the value of x is 10 divided by 12, which is 5 divided by 6. Now the question is saying, for which values of x will this function be concave up? If you look at it, when I'm at this point and moving to the left, the graph will be concave down. When I'm at this point and moving to the right, the graph would be concave up. Now, I need to tell the examiner mathematically, or not only the examiner, anyone who's going to interpret this, I need to tell them mathematically to go to the right-hand side of this point, which is 5 divided by 6. How do I do that? I use inequalities. Now, using inequalities, I therefore say x must be greater than 5 divided by 6, so that f of x is concave up. Let's go back to the graph again. If x is bigger than 5 divided by 6, our graph would be concave up. We have answered all those questions, folks. Let's look at the marks that we have got. We got a perfect 14 marks because of understanding the components of a cubic function. And now, understanding the components of the cubic function, that makes us to be procedural fluent. Please, folks, make it a point that you go to my first video that deals with the components, you understand them and master them, then you practice them. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel and don't succeed alone. Tell the others about the channel, let them subscribe, like our channel, and leave a positive comment. Thank you very much.